you click it, it'll say, okay, I see the live button. So we're live
We are,
on,
yeah.
yep. So now you have to open up the Instagram screen and click go live over there. So hello everyone on probably YouTube and Facebook and maybe LinkedIn, depending on where you
Yeah.
put it. And
Instagram.
Instagram, did you click that? Go live for Instagram?
Yeah, we are on everything.
Okay, good. All right, we're here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Let me get back over here. So today, if anyone is joining us, we are going to have a very personal conversation with Dr. Cody Goldman. Thank you for doing this. He is a leading expert in natural health care and the creator of the Fast 40 Hormone Reset weight loss program. So we are going to talk about traditional weight loss methods that usually stop working for women, especially for women between 35 and 55, how hormonal imbalances affect your energy, my personal journey with the Fast 40 program, and any other tips. We want to talk a little bit about business too, because my audience is medical aesthetic business owners, and a lot of them carry weight loss programs in their practices. So really just want to, and let me, I do have notes here and questions, so I'm going to read off this real quick. Okay, so Dr. Cody Goldman's groundbreaking approach to hormone reset and weight loss has transformed the lives of thousands of patients, earning him a reputation as a trusted expert in natural healthcare. As a dedicated healthcare professional with over 20 years of experience, Dr. Goldman empowers women aged 35 to 55 who struggle with stubborn weight that won't budge despite diet and exercise. His unique Fast 40 Hormone Reset weight loss program addresses the root cause of hormonal imbalances, helping women achieve a fit, energized, and confident body while promoting lasting health and vitality. So thank you again for doing and being here.
Yeah. And Emily, you're so you are like, you're reading that, I love it. And you're like live example right now of someone who's gone through that. So maybe just let everyone know what results have you had and how long did it take for you to get there?
Well, yeah. So I think I'm on day actually, I don't know, 59 or 61, somewhere like that. And I've actually lost around 12 pounds consistently because I still have a little bit of ups and downs, which I'm learning from you why I would have those. But yeah, I mean, in 2 months, really, I've lost 12 pounds.
And how long were you trying to lose that weight? What were you trying to do to lose that weight? Just so people know.
I've been trying to lose that weight for about 5 years. And I
years.
still have a little bit more to go, but I mean, it has been a struggle, very much a struggle to lose this weight, So I've got a really good head start, and I know that I will be able to lose the rest of it now that I have a plan.
What were you doing before this?
So before this, I've had a pretty good record of eating pretty clean, maybe like 80% of the time, 80 to 90% of the time over the last 10, 15 years. And that has been kind of my method of just, but then obviously I was still drinking alcohol. I'd still, eat whatever I wanted on the weekends. And that worked for a while. And then, I got into my 40s. I had another baby right before I turned 40. That was a very complicated pregnancy. And I ended up having to have a surgery while I was pregnant with her. So basically, it was 2 C-sections. And I just did not recuperate from that very timely. And, but going through all of that, then trying to lose the weight, I ended up hiring a different nutrition, functional health physician, doctor, fitness coach. And I lost some weight with them and I worked with them for about a year and a half and I love them. And if they're watching this, like all the respect from you. I know you have some patients that get results. I got some and it came back and I was with them for about a year and a half. And it was really hard on me. And so I appreciated the concept of this because it was like I was doing the right things. I was going out of my way to eat the right foods and to work out, and nothing was happening. And it's like it becomes a mental mind fuck, if you will, that you're like going crazy. Like, what? Something's wrong with me, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so, yeah, it makes you insane when you are actually doing the right things and you're still not losing the weight. So I can only imagine if you're not doing the right thing
Right.
and you can't lose weight, it's depressing. It's sad, you know?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and
but
Emily, most of
yeah,
the women I work with, that I was going to say, that's most of the people I work with, I want to say, are eating healthy 80% of the time. They're exercising. I don't have people who are like, I eat McDonald's 3 times a day. These aren't the kind of women I'm working with. I work with like powerful women who take care of themselves, and at some point their body just literally won't get the weight off.
yeah,
So it's not, yeah, that's the majority of the people that I see. And I got to doing this because as a chiropractor, I was helping people, with all kinds of conditions. But I had sold, like you said, you work with some of the medical spas. I had sold programs, weight loss programs. Like I'll name one is Isogenics. Isogenics is a whole bunch of shakes, and I did it for about 6 months. And what happened was people ate these shakes, they lost weight because they're in calorie deprivation. And the moment they just went to eat again, the weight came back on. And I realized I was actually doing more harm than good. And so I've done the things most people don't realize, that our traditional weight loss methods are causing your hormones to be imbalanced. But so just to say that, yes, I work mainly with women like you that 10, 20, 30 pounds are on there. It's not like, and they're actually taking care of themselves.
yeah. Well, so let's just kind of start with the basics and tell us exactly what the Fast 40 program is, and what inspired you to create it.
Yeah, yeah. So as I said, as a chiropractor, 17 years, I was seeing 325 patients a week. And I was the only chiropractor there. I had my staff helping me to do everything else, but I literally was watching people. This is what happened. We did isogenics because my patients were like, "Hey, can you help me lose weight?" I'm like, I never knew anything about weight loss, and I didn't have much interest in it. It wasn't until HCG diet came along. That is a pregnancy hormone that was being injected into women's bodies. That eventually they lost all kinds of weight, but they eventually found that it caused breast cancer. It was specifically a carcinogen. The FDA banned it. They lost a lot of money when they banned it, and they re-allowed it to come back again. And so that's when I realized this industry is screwed. Women are absolutely screwed if they listen to their medical doctor about weight loss. I can say that. Now, I should say that there are tons of amazing medical doctors around, right? But when it comes to the medical community, weight loss has become a kind of a, not so much let me teach you the right way to lose weight. It's become more of like the Ozempic and Wegovy and these injections. And so I had a patient who got cancer by doing HCG, and we started seeing that happening right around when the time they ban it. And so I have a few of my friends and I, we got together and we tried to figure out how can we produce the HCG effect? How can we switch your hormones away from sugar burning to fat burning? And so we created an entire supplement to do this. Well, over the next 10 years, I realized you can't just have a supplement. You have to have proper coaching. I learned you have to eat on time. So I didn't learn any of this from any kind of textbooks or any kind of training at all. It was from actually working with women and seeing what actually works. And so that's how I ended up getting to do this. It was like more of a calling from life rather than my interest in trying to figure out weight loss.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I have learned because of you, if I don't eat on time at like yesterday, I gained, like a little bit of weight. It was yesterday was Easter. It was kind of an off day anyway.
Right,
Everybody's
right.
at home. I'm cooking, trying to feed people. But those are the days that I have issues. Is when I don't fuel my body as I'm learning. My body needs it needs fuel to be able to keep going.
And
Um,
Emily, I was at I was at my neighbor's for Easter yesterday, and I'm just kind of like the neighbor guy, and they know me really well, but they had family friends over, and I walked in, and my neighbor who knows me was like, "Hey, can you talk to my friend about the Fast 40?" And I was like, "Oh man, I didn't, I don't try to go around telling people about it. It's just I wanted to have my, my Easter and not talk business." But basically, her husband was like this. Her husband said, "Hey, like she doesn't eat enough, and I know it's causing her problems." And so I started talking, and her husband was like, "Oh my God, yes." Everything that I was saying, he was like, "Yes, we teach our women to eat on time and to eat enough." And she was an avid road cyclist. So not only she said, "Oh, what I do is I do fasting every Thursday." And when I explained to her what your brain does with fasting, is it cause you to store fat? She was like, "Oh my gosh, she's been doing it for 5 years, doing this, overworking out and under eating." So
yeah,
anyway, I really experienced that, and it's so common. That women have been trained to suppress their appetite
yeah,
when appetite is a God-given inclination. It's a God-given message that you need more food. Don't
yeah.
suppress it. So yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
so for so many years, like if I would be out with friends or coworkers and it's a dinner event, I mean, and I would normally miss a meal. Okay. I'm talking like pre fast forwarding, even this last baby. And I would always feel so guilty because my body was hungry and I wanted to eat more food, but no one else at the table was eating that much food. And so it made me feel like I was a fatty, that maybe I'm doing something wrong. And so I wouldn't eat as much or eat all of my food. And it was because of everybody else. And so I'm
yeah,
also learning that I don't really care. But I'm also learning that what the appropriate amount of food for my body is because I didn't know. And so
yeah,
I was just assuming. And now I don't feel like I'm crazy because I want to actually eat enough food. So
yep,
thank you for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I want to address that. Emily, by the way, if you look below your screen, I was going to give you a little tip. Do you see those little squares? They show
Yeah.
like little squares. Click the one. You'll see one of them will expand us out because right now we're kind of small. When you click those, as you do that, I'll talk. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is important. So one of the biggest problems women have at the end of my program is they've reset their hormones. They're now fat burners. The fat comes off, and so now they're like, "Dr. Goldman, I eat more than my husband." And why is it a problem?
Yeah.
Because as a woman, you've been wired in to eat less, and it is bullshit. You
Yeah.
cannot, here's the principle: you cannot starve yourself too healthy.
Yeah.
Never worked. It still won't work. It doesn't matter how much you talk about fasting, how many books have been written. It
Yeah.
literally, obesity is a worse and worse. For every weight loss program that is created, we get fatter in our country. That's what happens.
Well, I'm glad that I get to eat more because I actually like food and I like how it tastes and I like enjoy eating. I just, I do. But
Amen.
I want to
Amen.
talk about removing fats, oils, and sugars as a key to success because that's what this has been about. And can you explain why those specific components are critical
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
program?
So, yeah, let's talk about that. So, I do want to preface this. This program is a hormone reset, not a diet. So, if you just do what you're saying here, the likelihood of hormones resetting it probably won't occur because we utilize a supplement that actually resets someone's hormones. Okay, when we say that, I mean two hormones, leptin and ghrelin. Leptin and ghrelin are responsible for telling you when you're full, when you're hungry, but they're also responsible for which fuel source you use during stress. So with excess sugar and stress, you're literally as a switch inside you, which your brain will go, I'm going to use sugar and not fat. That's when fat is laid down the body. So I want to say that first is without a hormone reset, you can follow this diet recommendation and it most likely will not reset your hormones, but it'll have a good impact on you. So for 40 days, we remove bread, cereal, rice, pasta, and sugar. And that's an important thing. Everyone understands the sugar, but why bread and rice and pasta, though, and alcohol too, those things break down into, your body turns it into sugar. So if it's white, it probably turns it into sugar. It's the best way for me to say it. Alcohol, turn it into sugar. Why is that a big deal? When you have an excess of sugar in the body, it will convert it into fat. Your body actually makes, it's magic, actually makes fat out of sugar. That's like you going to the gas station and pumping in low octane fuel and your car making it a high octane fuel. It's genius that it even does that. The problem is you lay down more fat. And so we remove those so that way you aren't laying down more fat. So that's the first one you asked about. The second one was fat. We remove all oils, which are fats, and we have all lean meats, which are fats, okay? The principle here that's so confusing to people is this. So many people are doing ketogenic diet and are loading themselves full of fat. And the question for you watching this is, if you put fat in your mouth, why would the fat be burned off your body? No one ever asked that question because they're just blindly listening to these fad diet people doing ketogenic. But that's what happens is if you put fat here, there's no reason to burn it off here. So that's what's so shocking to people. So that's why some people go, oh, this is just ketogenic. I'm like, nope, this is nothing to do with ketogenic.
Right.
Forget your old diets, right?
Yeah.
So yes, we pull fat and sugar out because your body has no reason to use the fat storages.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I've never heard that before until you. And I mean, I was doing the same thing. Like, if I couldn't have bread, well, then how could I create this food item in a substitute, like Parmesan crisp crackers instead of actual crackers? And it's like, okay, well, that is still, fat and, whatever. But it makes a lot of sense. And once you get through it, like, the first few weeks were kind of tough, but you were there to help me get through it. So I did want to get into a couple other things because not only is it the food and that we're eating, sugar, and fat, but I've come to realize a lot of stressors and energy stored, energy that we keep that can help us to retain fat, so let's talk about that and the charging session. It's not a typical weight loss tool, kind of confusing for me to explain. So what is it and how does it work?
So people know, in my early 20s, I was obsessed with understanding how the mind works, but specifically, what's the mind's effect over the body? And so I spent 10 years studying hypnosis and how to rewire the brain. And so I love that you said this is like, okay, diet, clean up your diet. That's important. But this is a principle that I think 500 years from now, I think we'll all understand. Your body is a loudspeaker of your consciousness. That's it. Your body is transcribing you. Okay. Now that's a whole other conversation. But the reason I bring that up is when someone lays down fat on their body, it's a transcript of what's going on inside them. So I've had women gain weight after a emotional trauma, sexual trauma, so they can unconsciously be unattractive to the male species. So if I've watched this over years, you can change someone's diet, but the problem is they haven't rewired the mind, and now they've become attractive. Now they're getting attention, and I'll watch the weight come back on. Okay. So then I realized, oh, you can't just change your diet. You have to reset your mind. And so we put a lot of psychology in the program. I work with, of course, Emily, one-on-one with everyone. And it's so fun to do this. There is no permanent change in the body without a change in the mind. It just does not happen. And that's why drugs and medications and stuff like that have been, it's why you got to keep taking them, because the body is just expressing who you are. So I offer, we call them charge clearing sessions, as Emily said, but to clear charge. So let's explain, what is charge. So charge is anything you perceive as good or bad. And I'll try to keep this really simple because this is very controversial for people, but anything that you have charge on makes you heavy. So for example, I have people who have gone through an emotional abuse 10 years ago, and they're still drained by the emotional abuse, and they're still trying to heal from it. And they're still talking to counselors. And I got so sick of this because one of the things that's not true, here's what's not true. Time heals. Nope, it does not.
Right.
You probably know this, Emily, and people watching this, you know, friends who 30 years ago, someone died and they're still sad.
Yeah.
And they're still, right? Time doesn't heal. It's an illusion. So that person has charge on a past instance that's currently making them heavy. So for everything you criticize, every past thing that you see as a trauma, and you haven't fully come to love and appreciation, for everything like that, it weighs you down, makes you heavier and heavier, not just from a fat standpoint, but from a disease standpoint.
Yeah.
This is why people think that as they get older, they get sicker. It's not the case. Fat doesn't come with age, fat doesn't come with gender, and fat does not come with your hormones. It's these internal stressors unprocessed that lead to the imbalance in hormones, that lead to the disease, that lead to the excess fat.
Yeah. I mean, it makes so much sense. And I just had a realization while you were saying that. I can't believe I didn't already put it together. But, you know, some of my audience knows with our youngest daughter, who's 4.5 now, she was diagnosed with spina bifida when I was pregnant with her. So not only were we dealing with COVID, and that was super traumatic, put on some pounds just because I was sitting at home cooking and whatever, and then get pregnant. She gets this diagnosis. I have to have this surgery. That was just, the whole experience was life-changing and traumatic for our family. And, you know, she's doing great now, but that was a traumatic experience that lasted for years. And we're still, you know, in her recovery, like coming through that. So not only was I having issues with my hormones and trying to lose weight and my age and whatever, my hormones have changed. Now I've compounded it with more trauma from, you know, her diagnosis and the surgery that we had to have. I never put that together, you know?
Wow. I feel like that's a huge realization you just had. My God.
I'm like, God, yeah. Okay. So I'm not just crazy trying to lose weight and I can't lose it because I'm not good enough or I'm not disciplined enough. Because like I'll pray, hey God, please help me be disciplined. And I'm like, I'm freaking doing so many things. How can I not be disciplined enough to take care of my body? Like it doesn't make sense. So something's got to be not working right, you know? Yeah.
Wow.
So
Huge. Yeah. Isn't that interesting to see that?
Yeah.
That is really big. And so, yeah, thanks for sharing that. And so I think that's what you kind of are communicating here is we work with, this is something that, again, this could be way over people's heads, but if you hear what I'm saying, it's going to be like a big aha. If your doctor works with your body and neglects the mind, you are only working with part of yourself.
Yeah.
If your doctor works with your body and your mind, but doesn't address the soul inside, then you only work with part of yourself. If your doctor understands that you are a body, you have a body, you have a mind, and you're an energetic being inside, listen, I don't care how woo-woo it sounds. We already know that like this body comes and goes, right? The mind comes and goes. Like, you know, who's the observer inside that's sort of thinking? Who's that thinker? Sometimes you can even have conversations with yourself. You're like, who are you having conversations with? You have other parts of yourself, right? So I realized a while ago, you've got to treat the whole person.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. And never can be the other way around. Or it's you're an energetic being who has a mind, who has a body. And I think we're in a day and age where most people are starting to understand this. 80% of doctors' visits, as a medical fact, are due to stress.
Yeah.
Not because of a bacteria or some kind of thing on the outside. So we know that energy, stress, it's a fancy word for it, affects us, right?
Yeah. So interesting. So I, am a business owner. You're a business owner. Most of my audience is a business owner. So how does this affect us in our business, or does it?
Yeah, you mean a charge in general?
Yeah, we're okay. So whether we're dealing with weight loss or maybe our customers, we'll just say us. But then our charge, yeah, like if we can't get a grip on our weight, and how does it affect us in the rest of our lives?
Yeah, I mean, check this. Yeah, check this out. I mean, remember how I said your body is a literal transcript of your consciousness? Well, for business owners, you're going to love this one. Your business is a literal transcript of you. That's it. I couldn't say it more simply. Now, that's quite complex. When someone goes, wait, what does that even mean? Like, your business is literally mirroring you. So I will watch someone come on here. For example, I'll do uncharging sessions with, let's say, a woman who's had a lot of charge against, let's say a past trauma from a man. And what will happen is anything you criticize in life, three things happen. You either become it yourself. That's when people say, I'll never be like my mom. Then they become their mom. You marry it or attract someone like it. So you find a partner that's like that, or you breed it in your children. And I heard that statement a long time ago, and I thought it was very negative. I was like, I don't want to believe that. I can say with 100% certainty, it is so dang true. So from a business standpoint, when I realized my business is a reflection of me, then it became very important to clear any past criticisms. And I'm on my fourth business, first one being the chiropractic office. When I started becoming very successful was when I stopped blaming everything else around me for the stuff that happened to me. And I fell in love with the stuff that happened to me. When I stopped criticizing and picking apart all the things around me. But our minds are wired to criticize. That's what it's wired to do for survival. So I literally have people, and Emily, I didn't tell you this, but I have women in this weight loss program who lose weight. They're like, oh my God, I'm confident again. What's the value monetarily of having confidence back in your body?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go live, if you got to talk to people, I have some of my patients who are on stage. The monetarily, it's $100,000, $500,000, a few $1 million of just confidence alone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, in my space, I mean, we're in the beauty world, we're in the aesthetic business, and we are here to help people feel good and look good. And if we're not feeling that way about ourselves, or we're stressed and all these things and we're holding on to it, we're rubbing that off on them. So how can we, really do our job with them? Gosh, I don't know. There's something else that came to mind, but it kind of slipped. I
was thinking about the beauty thing you just mentioned. It's quite interesting because, like, so there was during COVID there was a big movement, and I'll mention this because this will be kind of controversial, but that's kind of fun to talk about stuff like that. There's a big movement in COVID to love your body, which I thought, hey, isn't that great? But then I started watching what was happening as they started adding plus size models to Target and Victoria's Secret. And what they were doing was making fat a body type. And I'm all about loving your body and yourself. But if you love your fat and you keep encouraging it, it's going to kill you. It wasn't even about, I think it was a message that was trying to sort of underlying be good, but your fat is slowly killing you. For every, the CDC found that if you just lower your fat percentage from 5 to 10%, you literally decrease your risk of disease by 50%. That's just 5 to 10% of lowering your fat. So I started kind of going, hey, stop loving your fat and start loving yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, that'll work much better for you long term, and you have a much more quality life.
Yeah. So you and I are in the same, like, I'll say mentorship program. We're in the same group with, several other people that have also been in the group, and I know them personally. And that's how I got into, I was like, okay, if this is working for them and I actually know these people, I'm going to give it a shot. Let's try it. But one of the things that Rory Vaden says is you are positioned, how does he say it? You are positioned to serve the person you once were.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so what you just said, like, a few sentences ago, reminded me of that. Like when we are serving our clients, whether it's skincare needs or weight loss goals, and if we are dealing with weight or stress or all of these things, how can we fully serve them if we're not taking care of it? And how much better we can serve them if we are really becoming the best version of ourselves or working towards it,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just kind of put those pieces together.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Totally.
So well, I've got another question. Just curious. So what does growth look like for you in the next chapter? You got anything exciting coming up with your business?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is what's been really cool. So I'll tell you what the goal of Fast 40 is. And my first 3 businesses I created, this business didn't come from me. To help women reset their hormones, get their body back, was something just came to me, not from me. And so I want to make this a Jenny Craig Weight Watchers destroyer. Now, what's so funny about this is I said Fast 40, I want to destroy Jenny Craig Weight Watchers. That's my goal. What's so funny is someone told me, it's not because of me, but someone told me that one of those actually just went under. Was it Weight Watchers?
I don't know.
Yeah, Weight Watchers. Because I couldn't believe that you could join Weight Watchers. It's like, hey, it's $10 a month, and all you gotta do is starve yourself. You pay $10 a month to starve yourself. Like, I mean, maybe I should charge $10 to starve yourself, but I just don't feel right doing that. So it was one of them are going out of business. I'm like, that's why, because it's like it just doesn't work. First of all, but I that's one of my ultimate goals. I want women to have an actual healthy weight loss, and just like you now, the direction of your life is completely different from where you were going. And so the next steps are, I just created the Fast 40 Kitchen, and we're going to start launching this. I have a YouTube channel that's Dr. Cody Goldman. The Fast 40 Kitchen, Emily, is 7. So one of the biggest issues you've seen now is like most people now can't use regular recipes because they've actually understood how to eat. And regular recipes they honestly suck. They might be tasty, but they're full of oils, full of sugars, full of butters. So we've got a recipe program. It's 7 new recipes every week. And there's a little almost like artificial digital chef, a Dr. Goldman chef in there that you can type in, I want to make healthy cookies for my 3-year-old, and it'll pump out what Dr. Goldman create for his 3-year-old. Okay. It's so cool. That's really so exciting. So this gives us variety because, like you said, I love food. I grew up in New Orleans. The food there is so good, but it is the second fattest place in the country because of it. Yeah. So I want food. And Emily, as you start testing recipes, like, oh my God, food's amazing. Regular spices are amazing. So we'll have the Fast 40 Kitchen. And I think that's going to be something we're going to kind of make more of a mainstream thing, because is everyone ready to actually take the time to learn their body? I don't know. It seems a lot easier to do an injection and not have to eat right. I have no judgment on it. There's no right or wrong. Everything's got a purpose. But I really created a place where when you're ready to truly learn what your body needs, get your health back, get your energy back, and truly balance your hormones, this is where it is. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. I think you're right about that. What you got to be ready, because you got to commit and you got to figure out what to cook, when to cook, which is probably the hardest part for me is meal prepping. But you do give us a head start on here's some ideas of some things to cook. And even just other physical tools that you might not even think about start arriving in the mail, and you're like, oh, what is this? Okay, and so you're setting us up for success, which is super helpful. So really, really appreciate it. So how can people find you, follow you? What if anyone is interested? What should they do?
yeah. So, and what we're gonna do is, Emily, we're gonna put once we go back there, we're gonna send you a link that people can use, so that way that we know they saw this video. But fast40weightloss.com. And when I meet with everyone, I always ask, how'd you hear about us? And someone goes, oh, I saw you and Emily, right? We have a 3 Secrets to Permanent Weight Loss webinar that anyone watching this will have access to via Emily. And I've got a book called The Hormone Reset. It's a hormone reset for busy women. And those 2 things, I think, those are free resources that are incredibly helpful. But we'll post this in the comments and on all of our platforms.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Cody. This has been a lot of fun. I have a whole lot of more questions, but maybe we'll do this again.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
Thanks for
all right.
Good job going live, right?
Yeah. All right.
So then you have